How much of a beast is Sheriff in the weight room?
Sheriff's a big guy, and his weight room numbers match that. He's a phenomenal athlete for being 305 or 10 pounds. I mean, the things he can do it's incredible.
Could you imagine him being I mean, he was a pitcher in high school.
He's a quarterback.
Yeah, he's a quarterback in high school. I mean, I would hate to try and tackle him. I would hate to try and hit a fastball coming from him too. That's a lot of velocity.
You know, he's the next left tackle in the waiting, I guess. I mean, it's become a pretty glamorous position at Iowa. It looks like he has a lot of the same attributes. You just got to go out and do it.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. He's doing all the right things off the field, and now it's just time to go out on the field and take care of business.
How much does your dad work with the offensive line? Is it a everyday thing, or I mean, are there times where have you noticed anything different with Brian here now? Has he changed?
No, not really. I know my dad spends a lot of times with the tackles, and he did that with Coach Morgan. Now he's doing it with my brother Brian. That's something that hasn't changed. Outside of practice, I mean, I'm sure he spends a little bit more time with the line, but I think he does a great job of, spreading out his time, with the other groups. And, yeah, it's just one of those things. I know he'll be the first one to tell you. Tackles and centers are something that he's really passionate about, and he loves coaching them. But as a head coach, I know he has to distribute his time.
At City High, did you play center?
No, at City High, I played everything but center.
So when you got to Iowa, did you know that was going to be, or how did that come about?
Yeah, when I was being recruited, Coach Morgan was very honest with me. He said, your height's going to probably limit you to center, possibly guard if there's an emergency. So, yeah, they were very open about that in recruiting. So I spent a lot of the summers just learning how to snap and footwork and things like that.
Do you guys on the offensive line spend any time thinking about the situation at running back?
No, that's something Brian's done a great job with us about, just harping doing our job. And that's how he puts it. He says, you can't control anything except for what us five up front are able to do. And he says, if you look at any play in football, 5 guys are doing their job up front. Usually it's a good play. If one of the 5 messes up, it's usually a bad play. So it really shouldn't matter who's behind there. I know Coach Herb will do a great job and put out the best running back, and whoever's back there will run hard. And for us as an offensive line, we need to focus on doing our job.
Did you guys do anything different under the Greg Davis system then? Did you have to relearn learn some different things? Or?
Yeah, Coach Davis came in and he said, you can't reinvent the wheel. Football's football. It's just terminology. Protections are a little bit different, but for the most part, our running game has stayed intact. I think Coach Davis has been very patient with us, very helpful, and it's been a very good experience so far. Smooth transition, but for the most part, not a whole lot of change.
Do you sense that your dad is reinvigorated?
Yeah.
It just seems like there's. I mean, not that he was stale or anything. But
no, yeah, I think that's natural. Anytime there's fresh blood, there's something different. Things are always seem, to be moving a little bit faster, and yeah, there seems to be a little more, juice in them. You got a little more hop in his step. I think that's natural. Anytime you have any change, I think as players we're all excited to learn a new system, something different. It's a really exciting time.
How much of that would you attribute to your older brother and him coming on board?
Brian's very honest with my dad, and I think you need coaches like that on a staff. But as an offensive line, it's nice to have Brian around. Selfishly, as his brother, I can be a little bit more open with him. I like that, but at the same time, I know my place, and I know between my dad, Brian, and Coach Davis, that they're going to do what's best for us as a team.
Is there anything that you've learned from him this offseason that's maybe really stuck with you, or maybe something that you never really thought about before?
Brian talks a lot just about consistency. We'll throw on a game tape, and I've never really noticed there's a lot of inconsistencies in footwork that just go from play to play. You might think it's a good play, but he's really been able to point out just the improvement you can make on something you would thought is good. So to have him around with that kind of honesty and being able to point out those things has been really beneficial for me.
Now you're going to have your younger brother walking on.
Yeah.
What's that going to be like when he shows up and then suddenly you, Brian, Steve, and then your dad are all there at once?
I think it's going to be a blast. Steve's one of my favorite siblings. I've told everybody in my family that. They're well aware of that. We actually lived, or I guess not lived together, but we shared a room together for for about, I think, 7 or 8 years. So I've always been close with Steve. We grew up playing Legos together and just having a blast. Yeah, I'm really excited to have Steve on the team.
So would you say that Steve is a lot more like you then?
No, Steve's he's a lot smarter. he's much more well-spoken. He's the real deal. He's taken everything that my brother, myself, and my two sisters have done wrong, and he's learned from it. So I think Steve's a lot more polished than me and Brian ever were coming out of high school.
Have your sisters shared any thoughts about having all of you guys on the team at once like that?
They love it. You know, they think when we're all together it's a riot, and they're looking forward to it. And I think as a family, it's just it's nice to have the majority of us back in Iowa City and being able to enjoy a meal together every now and then.
What's that say about Steve, the fact that he's willing to walk on? You and your brother were on scholarship, but that takes a little bit for him.
I respect the hell out of him. It's going to be a tough road. You know, being a walk-on in Iowa is difficult enough as it is, and when you put the Ferentz name on your back, that's going to make it even more difficult. But I think Steve's aware of that, and this summer I think he's already done a great job of blending in with the guys and making his own name and just making himself known for who he is, and he's not trying to be anybody he's not. And I think it's going to be a great fit.
What's that mean to you though, considering you're going into your senior year? And I would imagine when you first, signed your letter of intent, you never thought that Brian was going to be your position coach and that Steve was going to end up walking on and become a teammate of yours.
Yeah, that's something I couldn't even dream up. I mean, that's more of a Hollywood script than anything, so I wouldn't mind having a Hollywood script kind of season.
Your dad's the longest